Hello, EchoSage here on the Sage channel, and today I'm going to be going over modular construction and some of the silly, strange objects you can actually make in this game using modular construction, and how it'll let you build larger megastructures quicker without necessarily having to worry about just rebuilding the same shape over and over again if you have a lot of repeating things. Now, please be aware, often in modular construction with this, you want to have structural integrity off, especially when you're first building. Otherwise, when you're constructing things in the sky, you might find yourself in a spot of bother, so that's why I'm here to show you have that off. And I'm going to be using the plains level, that way we have a lot of open space just to build in. Alrighty, so first off, before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and build a platform here, just so we have some stuff that we'll be putting our objects down onto. Second off, I'm going to go building a basic shape that we're going to be using as our first little bit of modular construction. The first one is if we were to go ahead and have, let's say, a large waterway using a lot of arches. So let's go ahead and build that out to there. And let's go ahead and build our first arch. So we want an arch that's going to use, let's actually go and use, number 4, just these simple pieces here. So we're going to want our arch to be 3 high. So we're actually going to go up 4. And we're going to go over to the other side and do 4 here as well. And then we're going to go ahead and cap it off with a lovely little roof piece here, the stone ceiling. So there we go. We have our first arch. Now, why did I build it up 4? Well, that way we can come down here with structural integrity off. We can delete those and this won't fall. Then at the base, we can do a Ctrl+X on it, delete it. We're going to put it over here so we have it. And it's fallen down. That was a bit of a faux pas on my part. But what we want to do is put it down, and as it's falling, delete it. And now, when I paste it in, I have a new one that I can actually rotate. Because I had copied and deleted the piece that was falling, it became an actual object I can rotate. So now I can line it up and place it here, and see it's 3 high and then the arch. And what I can do is just go on and keep placing it in. When you aim at an object, it usually snaps to it. So even though I had grabbed it at a weird spot while aiming up like that, well, now I can go ahead and grab it and just keep pasting it in. And as I go through, you'll see that now, instead of having to make this object over and over and over again, we have very quickly gone ahead and made ourselves this big line of these. And because we had taken the time to grab the falling version instead of just using our original static one, it means if we want to have a turn here, we can actually easily enough do that without making a new piece to copy and paste. We can just go ahead, and I'm just lining it up, place it in here and use our turn keys. And if we try to rotate it here, you see the whole thing turns. But if you have it at the snap point and you try to rotate it while it's trying to snap to something, it'll actually do it in 90-degree angles. So that's pretty simple. And you see now, if we wanted to come back here and add it so it keeps going that way, we can do so very easily right here. And there you go, we already have this huge construct built in no time at all, really, less than a minute. Okay, what else could we do? Well, the weird thing we could do is if we decided, you know what, this is kind of cool, but let's build something that you can't currently build. So I think, that should be it copied over. Well, for one, we could do that. How about that? Now we've made a circle, a complete circular passageway that you can now go through. That's something we didn't have at all before this. In fact, we could actually go ahead and if we decided we didn't like that quite too much, one thing I'm going to do real quickly is just so we can keep this original piece, I'm going to go ahead and delete all these pieces connecting this one, delete the base here, and I'm going to copy this, because I like to keep backups of it. So we're aiming at the bottom, that way our placement should be pretty much from the bottom. I'm going to copy this and I'll just paste it over here, and it's still filled. Dang it. Paste it slightly into the ground, maybe it won't fall. There we go, and it got hit by another piece. One of the wonderful things about these, if they start falling though, is it does seem like it wakes up physics. So there we go, I pasted this one into the ground. That way if I ever need one of these arches, I can just go back and grab it again. And right now you can see I'm actually pressing the rotation button. I can't rotate it, that's why I had to catch it in the air. I'm just reiterating. So let's go ahead with this though, because I like this circle. Let's go ahead and delete all the pieces we don't need next to it. And again, because we have structural integrity turned off, none of this is falling. And you see one of the interesting little things that happened here, because this piece, the ceiling roof, isn't actually supposed to be turned upside down, you get this little graphical glitch here, or I say graphical glitch, this little glitch here where it's trying to place these little extra bit of block it places, these little stones here that sort of make the nice edging. It's trying to place that in there, but it's never supposed to be upside down, so it's posting in a second one, well, what looks to be upside down right now, but is really the right way up. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish deleting that. Should be everything. There we go. We now have our own little circle, and we can go ahead and do the same thing we did before, which is, well, I didn't delete that one, but I did get a copy of it. So now what I could do is go ahead and start pasting this in here, and unfortunately it looks like it's trying to jump. Oh wow, there's another shape we couldn't get before. Hold on, did you see that? This rotation thing is so confusing. There we go. I could paste that. So my game crashed, and there is a good chance that happened because the devs aren't exactly keen on this working, because let's be honest, it was never built to work like this. So there's a good chance that me rotating it sideways just meant the game went, I can't do that, sir. That's just not part of our functionality. So it just crashed on me. Anyway, let's go ahead and see if that happens again, and that way I can give you guys, instead of telling you how to do this, I can show you and then tell you not to do it. Because then you'll at least have seen what it would have looked like. Let's actually go into spectator mode using the F8 button here. That way I can have a bit more control over my camera. Trying to place it into that. There we go. It shifts over. Can we aim over? There we go. There we go. We got what we had before. Let's go ahead and shift it. One thing I was going to show you guys is that you could do this. And when you place them together, sometimes these little inner blocks will actually disappear. And remember, when doing modular construction, you got to be careful. Because when you place these in, sometimes they don't actually merge together. So I'm going to place one right down here. Again, like we did before, onto the ground. That way it doesn't fall apart right away. And then what I'm going to do is go back here. We're going to put a stream across these, and hopefully, if we're correct, nope, it didn't do it. I've seen it before where it got rid of all the blocks on the inside here, but it looks like it might not be doing so. Let's try placing a block in here. There we go. That did the trick. That did the trick. What I did to do that was I placed a block inside, and then did the Alt and right-click to remove. Unfortunately, I removed the top piece there. Bit finicky, but you get the idea. You could start making open ways. And I really do hope the devs will add a block like this, or even let you use the ceiling one upside down, or even ideally, is in the future allowed you to just have one ceiling stone, and it would work the same as this stone block around, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically one of these. It's the same thing but on its side. And I'm just hoping they'll let you use just a singular block, and if whichever way you rotate it, because currently you can only rotate it around like that, whichever way you rotate, it'll just swap the brick texture around and maybe the actual model. So if I was to rotate it to look like this one right here, which is the completely other block, it would just change the textures out. That way the structural integrity and everything still makes sense. But you would all just be placing it all from one block. I'm hoping they'll be able to do that, because they have done some pretty damn impressive stuff so far with the plus line. Anyway, let's go ahead and one more of these in here, and then do the little alt thing again, and hopefully not screw up. Yeah, there we go. There we go. You gotta just make sure the red area that you're selecting is highlighting the right thing, I believe, and then wherever you aim and right click, it seems to do the trick. So, yep, there we go. So now we have this nice big open area here, nice big tunnel, and we could copy and paste this all around however we felt. So we could go like that. There we go. So now we got this huge tunnel away. Now let's go ahead and save right now, just in case it does crash again. And let's try to do what I did a minute ago, which was copy this, and let's try to make ourselves a little bit of a pillar. Structural integrity is off, so we don't have to worry. And let's try to rotate this so it's facing upwards. If I can just, oh right, yes, it's not going to do that unless I drop it. So yeah, there we go. I've dropped it, and you get to see the beautiful destruction of it when it hits the ground. And then we get to fly through, sort of looks like a husk of some ancient waterway or something. But now we can go ahead and make this face straight upwards, if I can figure the button out. No, why can't you just... There we go. So now it'll be going straight up, and let's see if the game crashes again. Yeah, it did crash. So there you go. Don't do that, for the love of God. Currently, it looks like it'll crash your game, so if you're gonna try doing that, save and then do it. Let's get back in there, shall we? And so here we are back in our world prior to that crash. So just reiterating again, even though you just heard it a second ago, when you're working with these blocks, with any block, and you've managed to flip it around a way that you know it's not supposed to be, like these here, like all these that I have running down this really awesome, hopefully one day waterway thing, just be careful, save early, save often, and remember, if you're using a world like this, there's a chance even in the future, if they update the game, that when you load up the same old world, it'll just no longer work, full stop, because they might have changed it in some way that now that there's these upside down blocks in here, the game is just going to go, I can't load that file. So just keep that in mind. Could cause trouble in the future, or even now, and cause crashes. Anyway, that's some simple modular stuff like that. Let's go ahead and copy this again. Ooh, wow, screen kind of jumped into it and the whole thing went pop that time. And just to blow off some stress after a game crash, we'll just throw one into the ground just to see it shatter. That always feels kind of awesome. Okay, more modular construction. Remember what I just showed you with those arches that are no longer there? I was looking over where they were. They're not there, Sage. Silly person. So remember, you can build lots of stuff like that. It doesn't just have to be the one simple little thing I showed you. You could have an arch going up, and let's go ahead and do the same thing we did before pretty much. But this time we're going to go a step farther. We're actually going to even take it up to the next point. So you can go pretty far with all this. And how high up do we want this to go? 3? Was that 4 that we went up? 1, 2, 3. So 3 up there. We're going to go up 3 here as well. I'll just delete the big solid blocks on the ground. Let's go in the spectator mode. That way we can work a little bit quicker. Go ahead and put our blocks here. You all probably understand modular construction, so this is a bit redundant. I just want to show that you can do some things like this if you've never thought of it. This is going to mirror and work pretty damn well when we carry on the path. So let's go ahead and just make sure we have our path here out far enough. And then go ahead and remove these 2 blocks here. Remember, structural integrity is off right now, so this will actually work. We can do a Ctrl+C on this if we have it copied now. And as you can see, when we place it in right next to the other one, ta-da, suddenly it has worked perfectly. So you can just keep on going like that, as I showed before. But of course, now we're building up 2 layers instead of 1, all at the same time. Pretty cool stuff. I love this a lot. Also, you can do it with some strange things that you might not expect to be able to do it with. At least right now you can. So let's go ahead and build up. So we just have a platform up here, and we're going to go ahead and use these little pieces right here. So these guys. So you're like, huh, well, I want to put a top on this, but I want it to be slightly more advanced. So I want it to be these little guys right here, and then I want an arch. Just a little tiny dinky arch. Well, you can do that. Of course, right now we could just go ahead and copy this, and even though they don't look like they're connected, they are indeed connected, so we could go ahead and be putting these down there. Oh dear, I just did Ctrl+V and then Ctrl+V again because I didn't see that showed up. That's something to be wary of. It did paste them down here because it was actually trying to paste it to a snap point down there somehow. You see it's not showing up, it's actually trying to place it way down there at the bottom. If you look, you can see it. Sometimes it gets finicky like that if you aim too far into an object. So just be aware of that. If you do a Ctrl+V and you don't see your object, back up. There's a good chance it's there. You don't want to end up placing it in the wrong place. If it's a really complex object, you'll have to reload. So we could carry on like this, which isn't really faster at all than just doing a line like so. But it might be quicker if, let's say, instead of doing that, we had... Oh, wow. Yeah, you can see they're not acting as one big object like I was talking about earlier. But you can see if we had a arch like this in the center, suddenly it might be a bit quicker to just go ahead and copy this and place it in there. Or if maybe you kept going with more randomness, we could have these same pieces we had on top suddenly here. And now I don't really want that to be pasted right above this. We want the weight to be right here in the middle. So all of a sudden, instead of pasting it right down here where I was originally planning, we'll be pasting it here. Let's go ahead and now that we have it copied, just remove this so there's nothing cluttering up our space. And go ahead and start pasting these in here. So you can see, very useful to very quickly build up a lot of stuff. And of course now I have these sitting off the edge a little bit. That's no good. That's no good at all. Why would you want that? You want some nice sharp edges here, right? Because of course what we're going to do now is remove this entire bottom row here. We're going to get rid of these duplicate things that we accidentally put in by doing an Alt and right click. We're going to go ahead and do a Ctrl+C on the base here, and we're going to stick another little block in my bottom bar. That way we can quickly drag that back out, and let's drag it all the way out to, oh, let's say here. It's going through the dirt a bit. Whatever, we have our Ctrl+C, so we can do a Ctrl+V, Control and mouse wheel scroll that away, and I didn't copy it right. My Ctrl+C didn't take, apparently, so once again we're going to do this. We're going to be fly down here. By the way, it probably didn't take because I went through the ground a little bit. You can do that. So I'm up here doing our Ctrl+C. Now when we do our Ctrl+V, it copies the whole thing in. So we can go ahead and place that right there. And you can see it's copied the whole thing, except for those. These are the last piece we did. And remember what I was talking about way back there where I was a little bit confused at why there was those things on the inside of it. Why these were not acting as one thing when I deleted them. These were counting as a separate object. Let's see, if I copy this, it only grabs that, so we can even do a Ctrl+X on that and it'll only delete that part there. These are not all connected, so we're going to do this right here. In the future, this might be changed, and also if you sort of press in with whatever you're copying and pasting, like if I press into this where it's actually seeming to snap to it, when I get closer, that's a good sign that they'll actually merge them anyway. But remember, as we tried to merge these blocks in, they were showing up all the way at the bottom if I tried to press them in by getting closer. So we couldn't really do that. So now, though, if we copy this, just to see if it did grab them all, unfortunately, it looks like it didn't for some reason. It's just not wanting to connect these guys. It might have something to do with the block inside block thing. Let's try that and then do a copy on it. And that did it because it was counting as inside this block, so it made all this merge then down to the bottom, I'm suspecting. Anyway, now we can see it is copying the whole thing, so we can go ahead and copy and paste the whole thing along, oh dear, even farther, unless you paste it wrong, in which case you've made an embarrassment of yourself and you're going to have to delete the whole thing because you've merged them all together in a very strange way. Unfortunate that, but now I can do it correctly, and oh no, right, I did a Ctrl+C to see if I got it wrong. Well, brilliant. Well, that's that, guys. Come on. Come on back down. Okay, it went up too far. It went to the max height and just destroyed itself. Brilliant. Let's try another one, shall we? Because now I just want to see it fall. Oh, that was... Oh, okay. Yeah, it just took a second to register all of what was going on there, yes. Let's even drop another one, just because, yeah, that's a bit too enjoyable, isn't it? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the front of it hit. It didn't shatter anyway. That was cool. Notice I did do a copy there as I was grabbing it, so now we can drop it like this. And I was rotating it as I threw it, so it sort of became a flying fish. And then it impacted strangely and is now breaking apart. You'll notice sometimes when they stop, they don't bounce or something. The game's not really built to throw things this big, so I kind of forgive it for just never, if this game never managed to handle huge objects like this flying through the sky, I might be alright with that, because, let's be honest, it's a bit psychotic to see huge objects like that flying. Also, I'd just like to point out that you can do more 3D shapes than what I've done with this demonstration here. This was sort of a 2D thing where I kept going along the line. That arena I built ages ago. Here, I'll even load it up. I say ages ago, it wasn't too long ago, so let me load that up real quick. Here we go. This place, the Concave Pyramid. I think I just called it an arena a minute ago. No, Concave Pyramid. You can see I had a lot of modular pieces just floating around here. And strangely enough, when I actually pasted these, they didn't originally fall, so apparently that changed at some point. Either way though, this place was built using a lot of these pieces as modular construction, so I can actually show you that. If I was to go ahead and fly down here and paste this one into the ground slightly, and then fly back up here, actually no, we'll do 3 at a time, so we can go ahead and paste this in here, move it over one, there we go. So you can see, you can see how I'm building up what you would have seen when you were inside of the structure if you've seen my other video. We have all this stuff down here, and actually this looks like, yeah, this isn't even the finished version, as some of it's missing. You can see that I have a lot of repeating architecture there, except for it narrows down. Well, it was done with a lot of this, except for I started from the outer ring and headed towards the middle. Kind of hard. Basically with this one I'm doing it the other way. So we just did that side. Well, we're going to do another side now, so we're going to grab this one here. And it's sort of like just block construction, except for with much larger and heftier blocks. And then we're going to move this one so it's merging into the other one a little bit. You see we got our little stair angle there. And move this one over so it's not clipping. Put another one in there. Oh, come on. There. It's not wanting to place. Sometimes I've noticed this where it just doesn't work. It's a bit odd. I have no idea why that happens. I just know it does. Yeah, really, I do not know why that does and doesn't happen sometimes. It's fairly odd. So times like that, you would have to manually build it up. Or I find if you place a block and then remove that whole area, place a block and remove that whole area, place a block and remove that whole area, sometimes that'll actually fix the issue, and suddenly the modular construct we were attempting to paste into that area will work. That was one of those times. As you see, now it's worked. And then, of course, we're going to need this side here, the exact opposite of the original piece we used over there. And we'll go ahead and place that in right here. There we go. And so once again, we get that little corner piece there. We carry on with the same thing, building up our more modular nonsense. And then, of course, you know how we're going to finish this off. We're going to fly over and grab this one right here. And buzz over here. By the way, I'm holding shift while in the F8 spectator mode to fly a little bit faster. That way I can get to these places quickly. And there you go. You can see we've built that up pretty damn quick. And basically you just keep on doing the same thing. So up the next level, we want to, actually these pieces, they're actually missing the very top line of stairs because of the way I originally only intended to use them for like 1 or 2 layers, but I ended up using them for a lot more. So they're missing this top layer, so I have to add that back in. Give me 1 second. Sorry about the delay. There we go. And then of course, as I said, we continue from here, just aiming at it, lining it up the way we want it, and pasting it in. There we go. And of course, I didn't do that quite right, did I? I was supposed to paste it in like this down here. That way the stairwell would move up 1. Just like that. There we go. So that's how I was supposed to do it. Of course, now I've made some sort of strange extra architectural design that, of course, is perfectly fine, considering this is a game all about creating your own designs, shapes, engines, machines, or whatever else you can think of. Yeah, completely did that one wrong too. Dear God. But you get the gist of it, how I did it. And of course, I was doing it from the outside in, and I was taking my time a lot more than I am now in lining up. But there you go. You can see now we've created this strange little tiny courtyard for alien people to come and visit and enjoy themselves in. We can even go ahead and just use some more of these. Paste this in here. And it's almost like we're creating an arena or like a little tiny worshipy temple place for alien peoples to come. They would go up these stairs and then be able to go back down into like a little prayer area or what have you. And of course I could copy those around more to the other sides. I believe it was this one I would need to use. And place these in here and continue on the same design, and then just fill in those corner pieces manually to create the design I am looking for, which really doesn't take too long. If we can just aim at the edge of that first block we placed, you can then do a control and drag. Bit finicky sometimes, but yeah, there you go. You get the gist of it, guys. I think you do at least. Unfortunately, we don't have a little stair piece that will fit that, so we just have to leave it open, but you get the idea of what I am going for. At least I'm pretty sure you do. It's pretty cool stuff. I like modular construction. I also like non-modular construction. I'm working on some other places right now that don't use it. We'll see if those ever come to fruition, as a lot of stuff you end up spending around 12 hours working on it, only to realize you are physically exhausted and cannot complete it. Yeah, that happens far too much with me, at least. Anyway, guys, thanks a bunch for watching. That's it for modular construction. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it informative and entertaining. If you did not, I'm very, very sorry. If you did, glad to hear it. Very glad to hear it. Consider subscribing. If you don't want to subscribe, well, thanks for watching anyway. And if you didn't like the video whatsoever, I am very sorry about that. Give me some constructive feedback in the comments down below, as well as that wonderful little dislike button. Go ahead and click that, and I will attempt to not cry myself to sleep. Anyways, thanks a bunch for watching again, and I shall see you guys next time. And just because this should now work, we'll go ahead and do that. Why not, right? Yep, why not? Oh god, it's lagging out. Right, big structures, game not built for big structures the size of fortresses and houses, and oh dear god. Well, I guess I should have stayed on the other side. I might have seen more stuff going kaboom. Who knows? Who knows? Pinocchio knows. Oh, there we go. There we go. Pinocchio always knows. Yeah. I even see stuff falling apart in here. Anyway, guys, ta-ta. See you next time.